That Don't Sound Right is a podcast about talking the way we did before the internet, when you could not prove anyone right or wrong.
All the expertise was contained in the people involved with the conversation. I'm Peter.
I'm Cecil, and I hope you enjoy our conversations. And as you listen, if you find yourself silently saying, that don't sound right, send us a comment. You're one of us.
What we've never done is get into a topic and stop in the middle of it and say, this isn't working. Welcome back to another episode of That Don't Sound Right, a podcast about talking. We're your co-hosts. I'm Peter Billman.
I'm Cecil Davis.
And we're just trying to have a conversation without Googling or fact-checking. Those things can so easily kill the conversation.
Go ahead.
So easily kill the conversation.
Yeah. So we've tried not to kill the conversation for a year now, or another year. So this is the end of our third year.
So if you're listening to this is episode 156.
Right.
This is the end of our third year. So it's quite a milestone, right? We have done one episode per week, every week for the last 3 years.
Yes.
We even do it during summer break.
Right.
Some of the major podcasts, they take breaks.
Yeah, we don't take breaks at TDSR.
We don't do repeats.
We don't do repeats. We don't go on vacation and have old episodes play.
We don't.
No reruns.
I mean, I recorded from Sweden. Remember that one time? I was in Sweden. I recorded. So the show must go on.
We recorded in hurricanes and COVID.
We're outside here.
We're outside tonight.
At what we call the Hawthorne Grounds. It's
with a live studio audience.
Right, we do. And so our brand ambassador, our international brand ambassador.
Yes.
Brent, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
And we have another listener. We got Jeremiah. He's been listening to us, and he is joining us for this live on-site episode. Jeremiah, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks.
Peter likes to say, welcome to the show.
Who doesn't? Don't you? I mean,
I do like saying it.
It's a great thing.
All right, so we're going to look back at the past year. So it's kicked off with Cowboy Pinball.
Cowboy Pinball was an excellent episode.
And food insecurity. Those were the first two we kicked off with. Those were two of the early ones, which Cowboy Pinball was a great episode.
What was that one about?
That's where you get in a bull ring and you stand in the circle. Like there'll be several of you standing in the bull ring, and whoever stands in their
little personal circle,
in their personal circle the longest wins a T-shirt or something of equal.
It's not
value.
Whatever it is, it would not pay for the medical bills that you get as a result of getting injured. There's also cowboy poker.
Yes, that's where you put your hands on a table.
So like we're sitting at this big table.
Right.
In a bull ring.
And whoever keeps their hands on the table the longest wins the poker game or wins the game.
So I have an interesting fact about our podcast.
What's that?
So in the 3 years that we've done this, so we're not live, right? Our podcast isn't live.
Right.
We have the freedom to stop and maybe change directions or re-say something. Sometimes I have to re-say something.
Right.
But what we've never done is get into a topic and stop in the middle of it and say, this isn't working.
We haven't, have we?
We have never done that.
No, I've thought about it.
We almost did once. Do you remember what it was?
It was the one about the animals, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
We almost did it, but
we did.
We kept going. It turned out to be a really good one.
That was actually one of our highest commented episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, we've never stopped in the middle of it.
So I think that's pretty remarkable. I think that speaks to one thing, that we could be on the radio.
Yeah, absolutely. And so if the producer for...
Why are y'all shaking your heads? These guys are shaking their heads.
If the producer for My Analog Life and Marketplace is happening to listening to this episode, we fully think we could be on the radio.
We could do it for him.
Yeah.
Our WFDD.
I'm thinking national.
Well,
NPR.
I'm thinking small but this comes to an interesting question, and I want everyone to maybe weigh in on this. And this is for you and I to discuss, Cecil.
Okay.
Is that here we are in our third year.
Yep.
A well-established podcast with dozens of listeners.
20.
And there's probably some potential takeovers waiting to happen? That someone's going to want to buy our podcast. What's
Well,
the buy the idea?
The Kelsey Brothers podcast got purchased by Amazon this week for $100 million or something like that. So we're more likely in the queue.
We got it. We should be bubbling to the top of the list by now.
I mean,
now
neither one of us are NFL players. But
now my question is, what price would it take for us to sell
the podcast?
Yeah.
I think we've discussed that we would sell it for enough money to redo the Ranchero
and the Scout. Which is what? We're thinking about 50 grand?
50 grand might put us out.
Right.
Yeah.
So, but here's the thing. We
don't want to disappoint anybody. Everybody's like, oh, these guys are ride or die to the end. But
yeah, here's the ride or die question. Let's say it's $50,000, but we only want Cecil. We don't want Peter.
Right. That is the question.
Do you keep going? Do you take the money and you go on without me?
We would have
the
to
question is asked to me too.
What?
$50,000, but it's only you. It's only you, Peter.
Anybody want to weigh in on that?
But do you split the money?
Oh yeah, we would split the money for sure.
We'd split the money on the backside.
Yeah, we definitely split.
But if somebody
going forward,
but that means one of us can't be in the podcast anymore.
Yeah. If NPR came and said, "Hey, we really like your show, we want to do it," but that Cecil guy, he's got to go. Peter, you're our guy. Would we split?
Would we abandon? Basically, we were saying we're not going to do the podcast together anymore. But the podcast will go on.
Right.
$50,000.
I just can't. I don't see the magic happening without the witty banner between the two of you together.
$250,000.
Sold.
That's the question. What price is it? How much is on our?
Well, I think we're good enough friends. We could have the conversation, right?
Yeah, we are here.
If you came and said, "Hey, we've been offered for the show to be bought," but they only want me, and they're going to give us $250,000 for it, I would not fight you. I would say, Peter, you go with my blessing. I hope you become a superstar on NPR or whatever platform picked us up.
Yeah, I think we could do that for $250,000.
I think we could do it for less.
All right, here it is, $50,000. $50,000. So it gets our cars done, but we do it for $50,000.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So you don't think years down the road and Peter, you hear him on the radio every week, and you're like,
that could be me, man.
You're like the fifth Beatle,
I know, it just disappears. It'd be hard. Yeah. If it really took off and he's doing like the Tonight Show and people are interviewing him, yeah, that would be hard to watch. But I got the Ranchero completely.
The Ranchero is done.
I would be listening to the show in the Ranchero.
You'd be driving around in the Ranchero. You're not watching TV.
I'm not watching TV. No, you go with my blessing.
For how much?
For $50,000.
$50,000?
I don't think I'd do it for less than 50.
No, I agree. I wouldn't do it less than 50.
Yeah, but now people know our price.
Right. Well, that's fine.
Hey, so what was your price be?
Oh man, only 50 grand?
Only 50 grand.
This wouldn't be the same podcast.
I know.
All right.
Yeah. I wonder if they would get you a new host to be with you.
They have to, because this is part of the deal.
Yeah. What if they said that we could be the new Car Talk? Yeah. It had to be you, and they're going to put you with Ray. So it's going to be Ray's coming back to do Car Talk.
With me? Or with you?
No, with you, yeah.
Or with you.
Yeah. But we're not offering any money for the podcast. They're just saying, we want you got to shut down your podcast. We want one of you to come, whichever one it is.
Oh, I would tell you to go in a heartbeat.
Really?
I would tell you to go.
Yeah.
To be with Ray?
Yeah.
Yeah, man. Yeah. To work with that guy? Yeah. Because look. We'd be making plenty of money working with Ray.
Yeah.
And I will fix your Ranchero for you.
Oh, thanks.
All right. I will fix that Ranchero right up. In fact, I'll fix that Ranchero before I fix the Scout.
Wow. That's a big deal, man.
Yeah.
And you can still have the same conversations that you've always had, even before this was an official podcast.
I wonder if we could do just rename it. It could carry on.
We could
start another one and just come up with another name.
I'm sure we could do something
through
else.
the underground, unless they did a non-compete.
Well, listen. What do you guys think? Let's say they said, "All right, we like your banter, but you can't do that. Don't sound right. You can't do that kind of topics. What topics should we do? What would be funny? What would be fun? What would bring you value? I think that's really the question that podcasters bring to their listeners. They bring value to it, which I'm still trying to figure out what value.
Yeah. This
is why we don't have any advertising. 'Cause we're not bringing anyone any value quite yet.
Well, we bring value that it means something to us. We
Yes.
enjoy it.
Right.
So, yeah, it would have to be something else that I equally enjoyed if I was going to put my time into it again.
Yeah.
For 3
So
years.
what would you enjoy?
But it would have to be different from what we're currently doing.
Yeah. It's got to
Oh,
be different.
man. I don't know if I could answer that off the cuff. I'd have to really think about that. I don't know what it would be.
What about that sounds correct?
Yeah.
Exactly.
That sounds exactly right. Just change it just enough.
You got it.
You got it. And just have people that come on that agree with me about everything.
Well, isn't there's a podcast you listen to that where they actually will deep dive and Google something?
Yeah. So their whole setup is that they'll take a rabbit trail in Google and just keep Googling it until they can't Google it anymore.
So this is what we should do.
Do the opposite.
No,
What?
we don't use Google. We use web crawler, or we use Bing. We use some other search engine,
Right.
or we use a really sketchy search engine.
Or maybe we just get a bunch of encyclopedias.
Oh, the old school. So
Yeah,
in the background, you hear this
Just flipping around.
pages being shuffled around.
You go with my blessing with all this. If it happens, then I want you to go and be successful with this. If you want to be.
You do the same. You do the same.
Appreciate it.
Yeah.
All right. So you got any favorite episodes from the last year?
I mean, Foul Ball series was my personal favorite because I got to go actually see some of it. And
Oh yeah, and we went to the game.
Yeah.
Together. Yeah.
Did you go to the actual? I can't remember. Did you go to the actual Foul Ball?
we went to the Foul Ball, and then we went to the
And you and I, we went to the press conference.
And
Right.
we actually went to the Foul Ball. Yeah.
Right. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Orchestra, because I guess I was out of town.
Yeah, because you were texting us in the air or
Right.
from Sweden saying you have to go to the foul
Yeah,
ball.
that's right.
You made us go to the foul ball, and we did.
It was
Had a good
worth,
time.
but it was worth it. I mean,
It was-
where else are you going to see chickens dancing in center field of a minor league baseball team
Yeah.
in a small town?
Yes,
where
and there
else
was some
are you-
mystery to it. Yeah.
There was some intrigue.
Anything else? So I like the Corvette series this year.
Yeah.
Corvette series is still going on a little bit.
Yeah, it's still. I'm still. I had another recommendation today
For what?
to buy the Corvette.
Yeah,
Someone else said buy the Corvette.
it's still there, and it's still.
But
there.
they said to really crowdsource it.
Yeah.
I don't know how to do that.
Oh, either.
Do any of you people know how to crowdsource this thing? I have no idea how to do this, but I still like the idea of putting somebody's business name on a rear quarter panel for
Yep.
X amount of dollars. But I was thinking more about that. I mean, if we're going to do it right, Cecil, then the crowdsourcing not only covers buying the Corvette, wrapping the Corvette, but it's also got to count for fixing the Corvette, maintaining the Corvette, and putting it in a garage
Yes,
because
there's a lot of it.
because the T-tops leak. Well, I don't know for sure, but they're T-tops.
The lowest amount of money you'll spend on a project car is purchasing the project car.
That's the lowest amount. That's right. That's a fact, isn't it?
Getting a project car is not a problem.
That's the cheap part.
Yeah, that's the cheap part. That's the easy, cheap part. The rest of it's the hard part. So I got a lot of flack for the ICE episode earlier this year.
Yes, and you
Right.
should have.
And so people actually made posters about that at work. Yeah. So that was a big one for me.
That is a good one.
Yep.
Oh, I think my favorite one is Can you land a plane?
Yeah, we got a couple episodes out
Yeah,
of that,
I think that's probably that whole series of Can You Land a Plane?
which morphed into Can You Dock a Space Station?
That's right. Yeah, that's right. And you found something interesting about docking spacecraft.
It's all automated.
That's really disappointing.
It's all automated. So could you dock a spacecraft?
Yeah, you think you could do it?
I think with the appropriate guidance.
No. This is not what we're talking about. We're talking about you're in the space capsule, and
Communications cut off.
the pilot has a medical emergency
Yeah.
and is unable to dock this capsule to the ISS. Are you in?
I mean, you have to try because you're where you are. But I would not feel confident.
Could you dock it?
How hard could it be?
There
Right.
you
How
go.
hard could it be? Right. I mean, how hard could it be? Turns out it can be really hard. The reason I automated it is because of the angle that you have to come in and the speed that you have to come in. It's really hard to come in.
You have to get it just. You have to get it just right.
You have to get it just right. Yep. What was the other one we were talking about before the show? So it was Corvette.
Well, it might be an animal one, the rock python.
Oh yeah, I forgot about the who wins in a python versus alligator fight. That was it.
Slash feral pig.
Yeah, slash feral pig. Feral pig. I still have that argument at work with that guy. Feral pig wins every time in any situation. And I now have videos to prove that. I saw a feral pig beat a bear.
Come
in a
on,
video.
man.
Yes.
One feral pig?
One feral pig beat one black bear.
Like, what do you mean by win?
Like beat him and ran him off.
Okay, all right.
The bear did not eat the feral pig. The feral pig ran the bear off.
I found the Michael Neave episodes fascinating.
Yeah, I like those. We actually got a lot of
that was a series, right?
Yeah,
right.
we got a lot of feedback about him. People really thought that this was an instance where they thought they should get rid of both of us.
Yeah, that's right.
And just have Michael Neave.
Yeah, he has a good radio voice and he tells good stories.
Yeah. So he might actually get the contract.
Now, wouldn't that be something?
Right. They might say, hey,
We're not even in this conversation. He's
Yeah.
collecting $50,000. We got nothing.
They just go back and say, who was that guy on the ice cream episode? And we say, oh, it was Michael Neave. And then
I
they're
would
like,
say it's going to cost you $50,000
right.
for me to tell you who
well,
that is.
And then they're like, yeah, we want him.
Yeah.
We don't.
That could happen.
Yeah. No, those were good episodes. He has a good story. It was fun to do those episodes. So,
We also had Sophie's friend, the other Scott,
yeah, new Scott.
He came on, recorded remotely with us.
Old Scott couldn't be here tonight. He wanted to be, but he could not be.
Scott number one.
Yeah.
Listener.
Merchandise tester also wanted to be here tonight, but
He had a long
also had a very long day. Everyone sends their apologies.
We're still due for a live episode.
We'll do a live.
We can do a live episode from a coffee shop that we have in mind.
I have noticed though that lots of people that listen to us and are on the show don't have a lot of social media.
Is that right?
Yes.
Really?
So like you don't have a big social media.
Yeah, you're right. I don't.
Do you have a social media presence?
Not really.
Do you?
I've been waiting until he.
Oh.
And Michael said on the show that he didn't. Have
That's
a big
right. He
social
doesn't
media.
either.
Right. Yeah.
And
so-
so we are between you and me, we
We're-
might be the biggest social media people of our listenership.
Which is really strange.
That's not a good idea.
That's not good.
That's
Like
not
we've
good.
been waiting to have that one listener that is really connected
to social
to
media.
social media so they can like broadcast us out. But
That does really describe
that has not happened
that
yet.
describes the problem.
I thought our graphic designer and had some pull.
Well,
graphic
they-
she's not much on.
No,
She's not much on. But we do have an IG.
We do. And she does a good job with getting our stuff out there for that. But again, that's not necessarily our demographic is.
No, that's
where
true.
Yeah. So
College women are not our demographic.
they're not
That's
our
right.
demographic. Yeah. So we are looking for that 40 to 60-year-old that has a robust social media account.
Right. It's got to be robust.
to come on here and to put us over the
It's
top.
got to be more than MySpace.
So I have tried on our Instagram account to post once weekly,
Yeah.
and we get very little traction.
Is that right? Because
Yeah.
you were saying that for a while that you were getting a lot of views.
We got a lot of views
but no followers.
initially, not a lot of followers. But so I tried some internet trends
Yeah.
on Instagram because they promise to kind of catapult you into the stratosphere when you do this, and it does not.
It doesn't
Does not
work. Like the little 1 second dink.
Yeah, the 1 second dink. We did the number 44. That's me. And there was another one we did. It was on that same vein.
Not good.
But I've tried several things.
There's something going on with social media that we're not getting.
Well, the fact that we don't have any followers would be part of what.
But the problem is, I mean, we had that many people look at the Instagram account.
Yeah, we had at one
But
day.
no one's following. Why
Over
then?
like several weeks, we had 1,500 people look at the account.
Yeah.
That were non-followers.
Right. And they stayed
They stayed
non-followers.
non-followers. But I do that a lot. As I'm going through Instagram,
You don't follow
I'm
people.
not following anybody. I'm just looking at looking at the pictures and
Right.
going to the.
I've
next
kind
thing.
of changed that.
You started following.
I
people?
started following people.
Oh, good for you.
I try to do that.
Yeah.
Just to see if that turns the corner.
Yeah.
I don't think it's
I have tried to follow some like accounts to see if they'll follow us back.
okay.
there's something going around now about being demure and mindful. Maybe if we were more demure and mindful.
That is one of the trends that are happening right now. Yeah.
What is this?
It's
Explain. Hey, that don't sound right. What are you talking about?
It's kind of like the same thing. If you've seen the Instagram things where someone says, I have purse. It comes from a podcast where the podcaster misspoke.
Mm-hmm.
And she was trying to say, I had my purse, but she said, I had purse. And so people have taken off on it and will make fun of it, like with their kids, saying, I had purse, I have hat, I have shoes.
Do you realize we have about 3 years worth of phrases like that where we mess things up?
Absolutely.
And nothing is picked up.
Nothing's been picked up. We've even tried to make stuff get picked up. And
no one's like Metaflick.
I know, we came up with that word. And we still are the only 2 people that use it.
That's right. That's right. We did come up with that word and no one else is using it. I also liked that you recorded, I forgot her name, but she does the permanent jewelry.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's my nephew's wife.
Right.
Yeah, she did good. So that's actually come to Winston-Salem now.
We got that now?
Yes. The permanent jewelry is here.
Do you know about this?
And
I'm looking
I've
at
heard of permanent makeup.
Oh, no, this is permanent jewelry where it's a chain, it's either a necklace or a bracelet or an anklet that they, instead of having a clasp, they just weld it together.
So it is here now. I know of a party. A friend of mine
we had our
told
chance,
me
Cecil.
about a party. Well, I think
we had our
the fact that we're guys, it's hard for us, because typically this has been women that's doing this. I would think it'd be very hard for us to go say, hey, can I weld a necklace on you or a bracelet on you? But maybe we did. Maybe we missed it.
Hey, if we had a cutesy and mindful website, it wouldn't matter.
we do not have that.
Yes, that's another thing. I don't have a
It
cutesy and mindful website.
did come to Winston.
No
so
kidding.
we called it first right here on That Don't Sound Right.
You heard it.
You heard it first here. Maybe somebody heard it.
Only a couple people heard it first, though. You know,
That's right. And they didn't share it on social media.
that is so. But that's an interesting fact that you pointed out about
What?
our demographic and their enrollment or in their involvement in social media.
Yeah, if I'm the person who's most enrolled in social media, we've got an issue.
Yeah. Well, maybe that needs to be. We've got some listeners here.
Mhm.
Maybe this is our 4th year
Right.
into it. This is our pact.
What's that?
We're going to be more into social media. We're going to see if it really moves the needle by
It is.
promoting it more consistently weekly on our social media
So
channels.
I try to do at least one Instagram post now per
Yeah, you do.
Yeah.
That's a
Yeah.
fact.
And you've done a couple of them now.
I've done those with you.
You've been the star of
The catching the ball worked
Yeah.
out really good.
Yeah.
Did you see that? Did you see our? You didn't see.
Now,
our
if you were a
These
cat,
guys didn't see our Instagram.
they're not on Instagram.
That's right. It does us no good.
If
Or
you
you
had
say-
been a cat catching the ball, then we would have gone. We'd had a
If
million
I've been a
views.
cat,
Right, catching the ball on Instagram, we'd had 1 million views.
yeah,
Yeah.
right.
Or if it had been,
Yeah, I think you'd also have some other things going on if you had a talking cat on
right.
a podcast.
Yeah, so then we
You
would,
mean like just dressed in a cat costume?
no, like
an actual
if
cat?
like cat videos get a lot of hits. So
Yeah,
if we'd
right.
had a cat catch the ball, then we'd have had 1 million views.
I don't know. I think if we got Peter in a cat costume, that might.
That don't sound right.
We had people. There were people in the chicken costume for the foul ball.
Oh, true.
Yeah. See, if we'd had our Instagram account going, we could have really posted some stuff on the foul
Maybe
ball.
so. I mean, it's as well attended the foul ball will. I can see it really moving the needle on our website and our podcast here. How many people were at the foul ball, Brent?
There were upwards of 12.
Yeah.
Every listener counts, man.
Everyone counts.
All right. Well, I think we have, in true That Don't Sound Right fashion, exhausted our retrospective show.
Well, before we close, we want to thank everyone for listening this past 3 years, especially if you can wear the t-shirt that we haven't created yet, but the t-shirt that says, I've listened to all the episodes. However, if this is your first time, you've got some catching up to do. We have almost 48 hours of content for you to go back and listen to.
Wow.
But before you do that, hit the subscribe button on the platform you listen with. And if you're that long-time listener and you're not on social media, then you're probably not even hearing this message right now. But go ahead and hit the subscribe button, leave us a review, give us a rating so others can find us and join the conversation.
For all y'all that have listened for 3 years, thank you for doing that. Jeremiah, thank you for sitting in as part of the audience tonight. Brent, International Brand Ambassador, thank you for all your work internationally that you do for the behalf of TSR. And I have now got to do the ending from memory because I don't have my notes. If you're a true fan, you know that I do not do the end from memory. I read it every single week and get it wrong even some of those times. But TDSR is a production of that don't sound right as a production TDSR podcast. That's still not it. That don't sound right as a production of TDSR podcast in conjunction with Camel City Studios. I am one of your hosts and your sound engineer, Cecil. Peter's your other host and does your web design. Instagram is done by Ella. Graphic design is done by Emily. Giorgio tests our merchandise. Brent is our international brand ambassador. And as always, listener number one is Scott. So until next week, keep talking.
And stay curious.